All right, so you've downloaded, you've got your work file, right? So you remember I talked on Monday about organization, good file organization. So I think on the university machines, it needs to be in your documents folder, but on your own laptop, wherever you're storing your files, what we want to do is, we've downloaded the working file. We have opened it up. Actually, I want to revert back to the way it was. All right, we've opened it up. And the first thing everybody needs to do to get into this habit is, we're going to save this file as. Wherever you store your files, in my case, it's here. And I'm creating a folder for Project 1, Series 1. Remember, this project has 5 series we're doing. Actually, I'm making a folder for Project 1. Let me back up. And in Project 1, I'm going to create a folder for Series 1. And Project 1, 2025. And then I'm just going to name this file so that I know what it is. Series 1 work file. I'm going to save it there. We've got a lot of different series. If we try to keep, you can try and keep everything in one file if you want, but it does get to be a lot to manage it at some point. All right? So we're just going to work on this series by series. So when we look at this file in InDesign, I've saved it. We're ready to go. You'll notice that if we take a look, I'm going to look at this as, actually let's change into, I'm going to use the Essentials layout. And anytime I'm working in any software, I'll try to tell you what layout I'm working in. But I'm working the Essentials layout here. So on the far right, it's going to be our Pages panel. And if we take a look here, this little icon, looks like 2 diamonds on top of each other. That's our layers panel. And there's a layer setup for all of our different cube sizes. So here's our large one. If I turn that off, here's our medium cube, small cube, and a pixel cube. What's that?
Yeah, it's like with the auto set for the layers panel. I don't know if there's like a separate for everyone, like essential classic.
You don't see all the different layers like that?
I don't know if that's in the same spot.
No, I don't think the window is, the layer window is by default. You have to go find it. You have to go find the layers window.
Oh, yeah, so you don't have that. Okay, so let me back up. Within our layout, if you go to the window panel, I'm using the Workspace Essentials. So select that.
It's selected on mine and mine isn't showing up.
So if it's not showing up, go back to let's try this. So you should be working the Essentials because that everything should be in the same spot mine is. But if it doesn't, go back to Window, to Workspace, and reset Essentials. Ah, I had that backwards. You know what? I'm the one that had the custom layout. Let me change layouts. I should know better than that. There we go. Let me go back to Window, Arrange. That's my bad. Reset Essentials Classic. Okay. So let's do this then. Layout, pick Essentials Classic. And it should look like this. You should see 2 columns on the right. Okay. My bad. So we've got our pages here, and here are our layers. So, we're only working with large for right now. So I would just turn off make sure all the other layers are turned off. Only have the large squares turned on. All right. And then, like I said, we only really need one of each configuration. We need one layout, one final layout with 2 large cubes, one final layout with 3 large cubes, et cetera, right? But we're gonna do multiple designs, pick the one we like the best. So if you just select page 1 here on our pages panel, go down this little hamburger menu in the upper corner of it. If you click on that, you'll see that you can either insert pages or do whatever, but we're just going to duplicate the initial spread. Make copies of that page. And I'm going to make 3 to start with. So we're going to go to the first one. Remember that our assignment, the first design layout we need is 2 cubes. So I'm just going to, if you click and you drag over a bunch of them, don't want to do that. What the heck?
If you click on them individually, you can delete them.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just more tedious.
right. But, oh, I see. Lock this grid. Go back to your layers panel. Down here at the very bottom of it, it says grid. Lock that. If you click right next to that eyeball, that'll lock that grid down. That should be locked. So you can either select each of these cubes one at a time and delete them until you're back down to 2. Or if you want to click and cursor drag over a couple of them at once, you can do multiples. Yeah,
You can also just hold down shift while you.
you can do shift as well. Yep. So we want 2 cubes. And I'm going to create my first design. In all of our designs, we're not violating at all our margin area nor our gutters. So we're going to have 2 cubes. So maybe that's my first design. Go down to the next page. As was mentioned, you can also hold down the shift key and click multiples. Maybe I try this as my second design. Go down to the third page. And I'm going to do this and this. So if we look at these closely, all of our cubes are sitting right on those grid lines. Everything's perfectly lined up. To help you do that, if snapping's not turned on, you can go up to your view menu. Where's snapping at? I don't turn snapping on very often. There we are. Under View, Grids and Guide, we're going to turn on Smart Guides and Snap to Guides. That will help me place my cubes more accurately. When I move them, they're going to snap right to those guidelines. And like I said, I want you to explore multiple configurations, ways to do it. But once you've picked the one you want, what we're going to do is, so everybody should have at least one, so you can kind of keep following through with me here. Let's say I'm going to go with my first layout. It's the one I want to use. I'm going to select that page, go to my file menu. I'm going to export this as a PDF file. Now, I can import an InDesign file into another InDesign file. I know that. But I'm going to export these so that I can name them, export them as PDF files so I can name them, and I know exactly what layout is what layout. This is why I'm going to do it this way. So this is my design, which is on page 1. I'm going to go down to Adobe PDF presets, and I'm just going to select smallest. You can select any of these you want. I mean, they're not going to be very big, but I'm going to select smallest size, or I'm going to go to the export menu, and I'm going to select Adobe PDF for print. And I'm going to rename this file Project 1, Series 1, 2 cubes. And save it. And in my PDF dialog, I want to click Range 1, because I only want page 1. And say export. So on my computer where I'm working, go to my work directory, University of Akron. Here's my Project 1, Series 1. Here's my first design I did. All right. So now I want to go back to, dare I say, back to Brightspace. And grab my submission template. Download it. I'm going to open this file up, and I'm just going to do it straight from my downloads folder. I just want to open the file, so open that up. Probably don't have to worry about that. And here's a submission template with all the instructions on it. So I'm going to put my name on it. And save this file, do save as. Back to my Series 1 work, back to my work directory for Project 1. And this is going to be Project 1, submission template, or submission dash, I'm just going to do my last name. Put your name on the file. And I'm going to save that to my project 1, right into my project 1 folder. Because all these series that we're doing, we're going to drop these into the submission template. So I want to save that. You know what, one thing I should point out real quick, and this seems to go without saying, but if I save this file, it's going to give it a .indd extension for InDesign. If I'm saving a PDF file, it's going to be .pdf at the end of it. File always has to have that file extension on it. Don't change the file extension, all right? But anything before that period, you can change and edit. Seems basic probably, but all right, so on my submission document I've got here then, here's where my 2 blocks go. If you click on this and you can't select it, it's because it's part of a parent page and we need to disconnect it from the parent page. Hold down your Command and Shift keys when you click on that box, and that'll make it so you can select it. So it's your Command and Shift keys. And now I'm going to import that PDF file that I just made in here. So I'm going to go File, Place. You can also use Command D on your keyboard. Command D is a quicker way of doing it. Navigate to your Project 1 Series 1 folder. I'm going to grab my 2 cubes PDF file that I made. And if you're doing this along with me, do this. Click Show Import Options so that when we open it, we're going to get another dialog. So we're checking the box Show Import Options here at the bottom. Go away. We're going to open it, and it gives us some options here. We always want to crop to the trim. By default, it might be that already, but if you work with InDesign very much, it might have gotten changed. So we always want to crop to the trim, which is, the trim is our frame of reference, or it's our page boundaries, all right? So this is a 7x7 page, I think. It's going to give us the entire page. You can actually crop it different ways, but we always want to crop it to the trim for right now, all right? So make sure crop to trim is set. There's our preview, say okay. It's going to look something like that. And I made a mistake right off the bat. I shouldn't see all of my guides and my grids, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and place this anyway, then I'm going to fix it, all right? So the entire document's sitting in this window. I need to fit it. So if you right-click on the image you imported and look at the contextual menu, we've got fitting options. We're just going to either fill frame proportionally or fit content proportionally. Either one will work because it's square, all right? Fit content proportionally.
So that's an active document, right? Any changes you make on that document will come up there?
Say it again.
So like if you were to go back to the original document and move on the square, would it move the square here too?
You'd have to re-export as a PDF file and then bring it back in. Yeah, you got to re-export it. But I do need to fix this thing because I left all my grid lines in it. So I'm going to go back to my submission document. And remember, on our layers panel, there's that grid. I'm going to hide that grid. And I'm going to export again. So I'm going to go back down to export. Print PDF. And actually, I'm just going to click, if I'm still in the same folder, you'll see that there's my file. If I just click on that file, it's going to transfer that file name into my Save As dialog box. And then we're going to say Save. And it'll overwrite it. Replace it. Yeah.
Why did you say you deleted the grid off the original file?
I went back into my submission file, into the layers panel,
Okay.
and I turned off the grids there down here at the very bottom. It's on by default. Click the eyeball, turn it off.
Okay.
File, export. Like I said, if the export should take you directly back into the folder that you're saving your files to. So I'm just going to click on the file I want to replace, and it'll transfer that file name up into my Save As. And say Save, Replace, Page 1. Always got to remember to do that range thing. Export it. Now if I go back to my InDesign document, you'll see that it's got this little warning sign on the corner of it. It tells me that this has been updated, that this needs changed. So if I click on that, it'll update it to the most recent version. All right. Need to do anything again? Did somebody get behind, or?
I don't know where to get that,
What's that? What you got?
So I went to here to home, like
Okay.
a home, but I don't know where to get that template that you're working. That one right there.
Gotcha. So go down to project information
Okay. This one.
and work, see under submission template.
I have that one. It's this, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Oh, it's on. Stupid.
Different page. So is anybody unsure of what I did at any stage? Did we all follow? When you're done, save your file. Save frequently. So if I go back and take a look at my folder here, in my Project 1, Series 1, I'm just going to work out of the Series 1 file for my 2, 4, and 6 cube layouts. Need to do anything again? Yeah.
How did you import the document? Because all I have is import comments.
So,
I'm on Windows, but that might not help, but if you could just tell me how you import it.
yeah, so import, so you want to import you want to import this image in InDesign, right?
Yeah.
So if you click on the box, remember these are part of the parent page, so we've got to disconnect them.
How do you disconnect them?
So you hold down your Command and Shift key. On a Mac, it's Command and Shift. And then you click on the cube.
Oh, import image, I see. Right?
Yeah. Well, in order to select the box, and then you go File, it's actually Place. File, Place. Okay.
Is this like a flash drive, like for the stuff, the documents?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is only for like right now, because I do have another draft.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and it should be, yeah, there should be a little pigtail on the front of those things for you to plug it
that's what the
into.
cord is for.
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
I'm having issues.
Okay.